tagumpay ng bayan. Ito ang naging isa sa mga pinchi, naging people power revolution ng 1986.
What made you do it? It carries more weight being Aquino. Nepo baby. What is your assessment of the current political climate in the country?
Anger is a cry for justice.
So you're not running?
The fight continues for the grandson of the late President Cory Aquino and martyred opposition leader former Senator Ninoy Aquino. Please welcome political analyst, academic, and civic movement leader Kiko Aquino Dee.
Hi, Sir
Welcome.
Alex. Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, it's our pleasure and our honor. Kiko, you drew attention last August when you thumbed down the Senate's archiving of the impeachment complaint against the Vice President. What made you do it? Was it planned or was it done on impulse?
Definitely it was planned po, no? So, I think a lot of the people I was working with monitored the situation. What actually happened wasn't too far from the truth. 19-4-1.
With 19 affirmative votes, 4 negative votes, 1 abstention. In the matter of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte, to the archives, the same is hereby approved.
And we were trying to figure out, after having worked a lot on the impeachment, how can we still express what we wanted to say? That the impeachment against VP Sara Duterte is urgent and it's a matter of great importance. As we understood it, no? The Senate prohibits making loud comments, laughing, or clapping, so making noise. So we kind of settled on the thumbs down as the most appropriate sort of symbolic gesture to represent what we wanted to say. We were waiting for another motion is carried to be the timing, but I think it was a long day. We had been protesting since the morning, so we made the call around the time of Senator Marcoleta's speech to do the symbolic gesture, and then that's how it panned out.
But it goes without saying, Kiko, that it carries more weight being Aquino. I mean, do you agree?
Well, so the basic thing is I got to sit in the balcony of the special guests of the senators because my Tito Bamas was sitting as a senator.
Nepo baby?
Yeah, I don't deny it. No,
Okay.
I mean a lot of.
I mean that in a good way.
I mean it. I mean it in all senses. No,
Okay.
parang it's not really due to merit that I enjoy the things that I have right now. But I guess to the larger question, bigger impact of it being an Aquino, I think it's a privilege that I can lend the weight of the family name to causes that I care about.
You're co-convenor of Buhay, People Power Network, and the executive director of the Ninoy and Cory Aquino Foundation. What is the role of these organizations in preserving the legacy of democracy in the Philippines?
I think the idea behind the Aquino Foundation first, which is the Ninoy and Cory Aquino Foundation, which is my main institutional affiliation, it's always been about perpetuating the legacy of my Lola Ninoy, of Senator Benigno Aquino III. No?
Yeah.
That was the intent of my Lola Cory, President Corazon C. Aquino. When she passed, the foundation sort of extended to including her legacy, Benigno Aquino III, si
Your
Tita
uncle.
Knoy. When he passed, so he also became part of the mandate of the foundation. And the strategy of the foundation has always been to perpetuate their legacy through good works. No? Parang do good works and people will remember him that way. No? So the foundation initially was involved a lot with farmers cooperatives. I think it was one of the first NGOs that got really interested in microfinance in the Philippines. All of these other things. We still have a scholarship program. But I think what was missing, especially after what we've seen after my Tito's term, where the environment of information became very conflicted. No? There's a lot of narratives going around. I think we all agreed in the foundation, and this is something that I push, that we need to be telling the story deliberately as well. We need to be putting that story front and center. And then Buhay and People Power, this is a group of other organizations that also are interested in commemorating the sort of the dates that are key in our country's story of democracy. No? So August 21, the death anniversary of my Lola Ninoy is part of that. February 25, the EDSA revolution is part of that. And the dark side, September 21, the anniversary of martial law is also part of that. So this group is, which the Aquino Foundation, the NCAF is formally a part of. They're in charge of just organizing these commemorations.
So, yung lola ko, pinili niya yung 4 na picture na to kasi parang ito yung pinaka-summary para sa kanya ng kwento ng museum. No? So,
Yung higit sa kanila yung taong nagpakita sa debetang ng iyon at yung araw na yun po, yung tagumpay ng bayan, ito ang naging isa sa mga prinsip naging people power revolution ng 1986.
You mentioned in an interview before that you are a social media illiterate by millennial standard. What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
Kiko?
I don't know what qualifies as social media. So I think my first social media platform was Multiply, but I did that because it was required by my school.
Okay.
No? And I think my general attitude towards social media now is social media should just be for leisure. No? Parang I think a lot of the problems that we have right now is not because of social media per se, but because we use social media for such serious things now, for politics. I think a lot of people younger than me grew up in a time when they take a lot of their their self-esteem rather on social media, and that can have some really negative effects on mental health. A lot of the decision makers, when they make decisions that we don't like, they already anticipate that we're going to blow them up on social media about it. No? But we need to be also showing them that it's not just what we can say with relatively low cost on social media that we're going to react with, but to go out on the streets, to put yourself out there. It's a much harder ask, so I understand why a lot of people don't do it. But that I think gets people, that I think in the age where anyone can say anything on social media, that I think gets more attention now.
You're very vocal against historical revisionism and fake news. Where do you think the real problem lies? In education, in media, or elsewhere?
I think it's hard to diagnose. And I think if I had a firmer grasp of it, then that'd help me a lot in my job. No? I'd be doing a better job than I had right now. Education is part of it, but I think also, I think a big part of it is also our contemporary politics. I feel like my biggest enemy as far as the Aquino Foundation is concerned. Definitely, there's the story between my family and the Marcoses is an antagonistic one, right? So I think the values are fundamentally different there. More recently, the story with the Duterte is also an antagonistic one, right? So the values are very different, right? But I think the biggest actual enemy of the narrative of the Aquinos is the idea na pare-pareho lang silang lahat, no? That all politicians are the same. No? Why does it matter if I vote for your candidate? She's not different. And if people believe that, that opens the room for, okay, I might as well vote for this person, vote for that person, right? So
there's cynicism in the air.
Right, and it's very much perpetuated. Look at, you see people validating that idea that they're all the same in so many different parts of our government, right? But to the extent that I can use the story of Lola Ninoy, Lola Cory, Tito Pnoy, to sort of get that idea across that they were different, no? They weren't perfect, no? But they were politicians who put the general welfare ahead of particular interests.
I,
Corazon Cojuanco Aquino,
Corazon Cojuanco Aquino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and conscientiously
and conscientiously
fulfill my duties
fulfill my duties
as President of the Philippines.
as President of the Philippines.
I think the debate on who the best president is going on a lot. But ako, again, I've said before, my professional opinion is that Lola Cory is the best president. Sorry, Tito Pnoy. She endured so many coups, and her life, she grew up her whole life thinking I would be the husband of Ninoy, I would be the parents of Noy, Kris, my titas, my mom. She didn't not become mom or Lola to us. She took on a much bigger burden than she was expecting to for the rest of her life, and put her life at risk several times during her presidency because of all of the coups. But she did that because she was committed to bring back the system where the only way you could gain the power of the office of the president or any kind of political power is through the ballot. She wouldn't accept any other kind of transition that way. Again, as an example, this is someone who wasn't perfect. She didn't grow up sort of preparing to be in politics, but she put her self-interest to one side and said, this is what my fellow Filipino needs from me right now.
She answered the call of the times.
After kissing him and looking at him, I thought he was smiling at me. And I asked my daughters and they said, yes, Dad seems to be smiling at us.
But in a nutshell, what is your assessment of the current political climate in the country
Bad.
today? You're one of the people who are organizing rallies because of the flood control scandals. Are there any other movements that the Filipinos should know of?
Well, I think the focus of our attention is the focus of our organizing is on September 21. I'm part of the group that's organizing the rallies in People Power Monument. So that's 1 p.m. on September 21. This is led by the church. It's Church Leaders Council for National Transformation. This is led by Bishop Colin Bagaforo, right? And we're very happy to be working with the church on this endeavor, because I think when church and civil society work together, that's like one of the key ingredients for major change in this country.
And as a concerned citizen and student, we have the right to investigate anything happening in our local communities. So nandito po ako para utinahin ang malawakang korupsyon sa ating pamahalaan.
So I was helping out a group last Saturday called Kalayaan Kontra Korupsyon. And they just got in touch with me 2 weeks before they called for the rally. They just asked me to speak. And syempre, when a new group sort of emerges like that, I try to dig up on them. Who are they? Do they have some illicit purpose? And what I saw was that these are college students, never got involved in politics or national politics at all before this point. But they feel the need to stand up because of just how morbid the contrast is. Parang you have so much flooding on one hand, so many cases of leptospirosis, and relatively not that much rain compared to sort of what we've seen before, and flooding becoming this bad.
Kindly narrate to this committee, anong ibig sabihin nito?
You see a lot of the people alleged to be involved in these scandals, flaunting their
unexplained wealth.
The unexplained wealth, right? So,
Scandalous wealth.
I heard once that anger is basically a cry for justice, right? So, and that sort of contrast is so fundamentally unjust that it's not surprising that people are coming out to protest. But what I'm also very proud of is that I think all of the protests that have happened right now sort of fall under that category of peaceful protests that we, as Filipinos, have sort of we came out on the world stage because we did that during EDSA, no?
And called on the population to support the movement.
Do you think that we're way past that we need something more drastic? Like an Indonesian or a Nepalese solution?
So I'm definitely committed to the 87 Constitution and the values behind it, right? So that's non-violent struggle. I'm committed to, if we want political change, we do it through the ballot, right? And I believe that when corruption is exposed, the Filipino people respond accordingly.
You have said time and again that you won't run for office. What can make you change your mind?
What can make me change my mind?
Cory said that too, and Ninoy had no ambitions to become president.
Well, okay, so I think in terms of I definitely don't think it was Tito Noy's plan to run for president in 2010, no? But I mean, if you run for Senate, then at the back of your mind, that possibility exists. With Lola Cory, definitely she said that, but someone whispered in her ear that, okay, you shouldn't say absolutely no, kasi that will disappoint your supporters. So you say, okay, I have this condition, 1 million signatures, and Marcos should call for a snap election. And then lo and behold, that's what happened, right?
So you're not running?
No, I'm not running.
It's a no?
It's definitely, it's a red line. Parang I think part of the reason why I'm particularly active now in a lot of these other causes is that I know that there's something I cannot give. Right, and that's sort of running for public office. It was such a difficult time. Well, for me personally, I did not enjoy being the nephew of the president and the very small spotlight that has on me personally, but more so seeing how someone I love and care about becomes the target of so much criticism. I can't say they can't criticize, no? Parang that's it's important in democracies that
Comes with the
criticize
territory.
Comes with the territory, but it's hurtful, right? So in a way, that's worse, no? Parang I can't even delegitimize the criticism. It's part of the job. He has to go through this, right? And then that's what I went through under Tito Knoy. But what did my mom go through under Lola Cory? She had the last rites performed on her during one of the coup d'etats, right? Lola, like in 1989, they thought it was it.
Yeah, so let's go into something that you really love. Like, how is Kiko as a teacher? Sir Kiko.
You'd have to ask my students. So the main course I teach is statistics for the social sciences, and I teach it to political science majors. But my attitude is I will meet you halfway, right? So if you put the work into the course, then I will put the effort in to meet you where you are. I will try to make the lecture as interesting as I can. But if you don't want to listen to it, that's up to you. But the reckoning is with the exam.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
When you were younger, going back further, what were the dinner table conversations like when you were like growing up in the Aquino household?
So an anecdote I really like to tell is na when Lola got sick around the time I was applying for college, and then she passed when I was first year college, and she asked, what course do you want to take? And then Kiko, I said, Lola, I think I'm interested in political science, since this was around the time na Lola was really opposing President Arroyo. And then Lola asks, why are you taking that? Parang the reaction was, hindi naman ako pinagalitan, but I feel like if I had said any other course, she would have been much happier. So I think,
did she mention a particular course that she wanted you to take?
I think more for us in general, and all of us were pasaway apos, right? She probably would have wanted one of us to be a doctor. None of us actually did that. I think growing up, we all knew that there would be a particular spotlight on us in the family. The line that my cousin liked to use actually was, pag nabalita ka, pag nag-appear ka sa dyaryo, hindi pangalan mo yung mag-a-appear dyan. It is Apo ni Ninoy, Apo ni Cory. And true enough, that's what's happening now. Apo ni Ninoy does this, Apo ni Cory does that, Pamangkin ni Pnoy does this, right? It's not just your name that's on the line, it's their name. And they put so much into maintaining the integrity of that name.
Speaking of Tito Noy, what's your fondest memory of President Aquino?
I think my answer changes often, pero the thing that just immediately sprang to mind is more about with my sister. My sister represented the Philippines, and this is esports. She plays this competitive game called Hearthstone. After my Lola and my Tito, my sister is probably my family member I admire the most. And I think she finished a little below her expectation because she was quite popular in that community of esports players. She was a little disappointed in the performance. I remember si Tito Noy was already parang going to the hospital to check on his health at the time. And he asked kumusta si Gia after the esports. And then I mentioned in passing na, well, Tito syempre disappointed. When I get home, the next thing I know, parang si Tito Noy sends my sister this really, really long text na, alam mo, Gia, like, disappointment is part of life. All of this. Yeah, commiserating in a really sincere sense. And especially remembering that as president, the levels of setbacks that he experienced must have been huge. It's easy to just say, sobrang minor lang yan, get over it, right? But to have to take so much time when he was dealing with his own health problems at the time to say that for my sister.
What about your Tita Kris? How is she now? Have you talked to her lately?
So it's definitely my mom and my Tita Bolsi who talk with her more often.
What's your relationship with her?
She was my tita who would always give me clothes for my birthday.
Binibigyan ka niya ng marami.
Yeah, she always gives clothes. And ako naman, I am, I'm the one who likes, pag birthday, I want toys. When I got a little older, I wanted video games or I wanted books or whatever.
Yeah.
I was never the nephew closest to her. Diba? But that being said, how is she doing now? Ayun, she's going through a rough illness right now. It's an autoimmune disease. Yeah. Honestly, si Bimbi is such a trooper na si Bim rather, is he's with her 24/7 literally, but at her side through a difficult time.
As the eldest sibling, are you a strict kuya to your...
Oh, no. I'm the eldest sibling. I'm not the smartest sibling. Gia is brilliant, right? So she is Pisay, right? So parang won that competitive examination. Sorry, Gia. I'm gonna pag ko naman niya yung ibubuhat ko. Pisay for high school, right? Oblation scholar in UP, so that's like the top 50 in the UPCAT. right? And then, her course was molecular biology and biotechnology, which is like, if you go to UP, all of the 3-letter courses are the hardest ones, right? And then she balanced that very, very difficult course with her own sort of career in esports. I have a lot of admiration for her, and everything she does, like, I support na, and I trust her judgment completely.
Does she support you with your causes?
So that one is, I think, I think she, like my mom and dad, say na, hinay-hinay lang, parang maybe don't stress us out too much. We worry about, parang, again, knowing what politics looks like, the worry comes from a place of love naman, di ba?
When you're not in the rallies, what do you do during the weekends? What do you do for your pastime?
During the weekends, I'm a nerd, right? So I'm a video game player. I like my sister, although I'm not as good at her at it.
What video games do you play?
My current addiction, which my sister got me into actually, is this thing called Pokemon Pocket. So it's a card game also, but na Pokemons. A lot of these like free-to-play games, it's diba? It's like, it's free, but if you want to get ahead, you pay, right? Na ako, parang the moment I start paying it, I'm sure I'm not gonna stop. So I'm like, I will never spend a cent on this. When I do spend, I try to make sure I don't get addicted to buying things. So like the thing is, like when my weird practice is if I buy things online, like Shopee or Lazada, after I receive the order, I'll delete the app.
Okay.
So like if I want to buy something, I have to go through the trouble of reinstalling it. And
to make it harder for you.
To make it harder to just
buy
again.
Things, yeah. May phone-in question dito. I don't know if you're gonna answer this. Are you seeing anyone these days daw?
No, I'm very, very single because I don't know how the people who have relationships, I don't know how they maintain it when you're called to all of these meetings, right? And then
you'll cross the bridge when you get there.
Yeah. I'll know it when I see it.
Okay. Do you have any message to the Filipino people now that we're again living in interesting times?
The Filipino people know right from wrong. I think the idea that we're corrupted, that we're always voting for these these bad politicians, I don't think that's true. I think we need to have that hope, no? That for people who want to change our politics, know that if you express yourself as honestly as possible, if you really have good intention and you put yourself out there, people respond to it. No? Don't lose hope in each other.
I have an off-top question. What's your reaction to the president's offered declaration that he would have joined the rally if he were not president?
But I think if you're president, you have so many powers to actually affect change. The reason why we're rallying is because we don't have that power. Definitely rallying is important and we can push things, right? We can make our voices heard. We can make our voices heard through the ballot. But President Marcos was given the blessing of 60% of voters to exercise that power to do something for the country, right? And he hasn't done much of it in the last 3 years, but hopefully he does it now. Now, the ICI is a step in the right direction, but he needs to exert his authority to rally Congress to pass the law to give the ICI proper powers to actually have a meaningful investigation.
Thank you.
On that note, thank you so much, Kiko.
Thank you po.
For PeopleAsia Features, this is Alex Vergara.